Okay, so we are on page 38 after Marianne. And with Marianne, we have the melody in the left hand. And in the right, we had chords, C chord and G7 chord. I noticed a couple of things in the testing. Number one, there were many of you that absolutely missed that this thumb has to move to B. And because you were reading finger numbers only, 1, 3, and 5. Hi, Jocelyn, we're in recording. So 1, 3, and 5. So the thumb would move over to B. Some of you guys tried to play the G7 as 1, 4, and 5 in position. It is imperative that from now on, because of where you are in your development, that you are looking at the notes on the paper, not just the finger numbers, because this finger number 1 can play multiple notes. Actually, all of your fingers can play multiple notes as we move forward. So it is important to get away from just reading finger numbers. If you're one of those people that's been writing the finger numbers down and memorizing them, it's going to get far more complicated for you moving forward. So please make sure that you are looking at the actual notes. When I pointed it out to you on the playing test that the note went from C to B, it all clicked for you. Okay, so here's the C chord with the right hand. And then the G7, the thumb moves over to B and fingers 4 and 5 remain in place. So moving on to page 38, we have the same thing in the left hand. So our chord is still 5, 3, and 1. Everybody play a C chord with me, please. But our pinky now is going to move over to the B. This is what you see on the top of this page. Our pinky has moved over to B, and fingers 1 and 2 are playing the F and G. So you want to go from 5, 3, 1 to pinky over 5, 2, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, 2, 1. Gentlemen, please stop talking. Stay focused on what we're doing. I want to see your hand doing what I'm doing. Thank you. All right, so play your C chord for me. Move the pinky over and then play 1 and 2. And back, 5, 3, and 1. And 5, 1, and 2. This is basically page 38. And it gives you plenty of practice doing that right here. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And with repeat, if you choose to do the repeat. It also at the bottom of the page reiterates what ties are and that you don't re-articulate. So now here in the right hand, which we've already kind of done in Marianne, is a review of the right hand G7, just to make sure that thumb is actually moving over to B and fingers 4 and 5 are playing the F and the G. You want to get to a place, and you may not be there, some of you that even though you can play the song, can't sit here and do what I'm doing, which is going back and forth from the C chord to the G7. I'm doing it without really thinking about it because I'm talking to you at the same time. Okay, so we want to get it into our muscle memory where we can just feel that G7 dominant chord very easily. There's practice at the bottom of that page for the same thing. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Please stop drawing on the backboard. Thank you. Practice there. I wish I knew how to turn that off. Okay. So introducing the B for the left hand. Let's see, we're going to page 39 at this point, I think, or 40. So on page 40, we also go into something called 3/4 time. That's this time signature right here, 3/4 time. And that means instead of having 4 beats in every measure, we're only going to have 3. Rockets is practicing that. So I'm in C position. I'm playing 5, 3, 1, 1. So instead of thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 1, 1, 3, 5, 4, 1, 2, rest. This is how rockets work. So this time signature at the beginning basically tells us how many quarter notes are in each measure. And when that top number changes, the number of quarter notes that we are allowed changes. You'll notice there's no whole notes in this song because whole notes are 4 counts, and so they wouldn't fit in a measure because we're only allowed 3 beats. This is a good practice song, though, because you're doing this G7 in the left hand, which we haven't really done for a playing test yet, and you're going to need it for when the Saints go marching in here in a minute. This song from the beginning sounds like this. Moving on to page 41. This is just practice. There's also dynamics. Dynamics are louds and softs. You can see here that the F means forte, which is loud. It comes from the Latin root forte, which we, in this life, what is your forte in American English? What is your forte? That's your strong thing. So you're playing strongly. Mezzo forte is medium strongly or medium loud, and piano is soft. The instrument of piano, please stop banging on your keys. Thank you. The instrument of piano was named soft instrument on purpose because the instrument that came before it, the clavinova, did not have any felt on the mallets. If you look inside of an acoustic piano, there is felt covering the little mallets that are hitting the strings, which makes it a much softer sound. This is great practice right here. This is just what I was telling you need to do to go from this chord to this chord to this chord to this chord easily. What you can't see on the bottom there is basically the left hand doing the same. As dotted half notes. Remember that your dot adds 1/2 of the original value. So the original value of a half note is 2, half of 2 is 1, which makes this note 3 counts, which makes it fit in 3/4 time very easily. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Page 42 is very important. I want you to look at this symbol right here on the bass clef that goes over all of those notes. It looks like a tie, but I'm going to tell you how we know it is not a tie, because the notes that are underneath it are different notes. You cannot hold different notes. So slur just means to play them very gently, to play them smoothly, to connect them to each other. So you'll notice there's a difference in this song, and what can I share? There's a difference between the right hand and the left hand. Now, what can I share is still the melody in the left and the chords in the right, but my left hand is smooth or slurred. My right hand is chords that are chunky and short. So I have the second half of what can I share is the opposite. Melody in the right, chords in the left. That's what makes this song a great practice for you at this point. It also is in 3/4 time. Once again, you cannot see the bottom, but if you need a printout of the full page, I certainly have the whole book and I can make that for you very easily. What can I share is a great practice that will have you practice slur. I hope in my playing you could hear the difference between my right and left hand and how one hand was smooth and connected and the other was shorter and separated. It's a great practice. Please do not skip this song. You will not be able to play When the Saints Come Marching In as well if you don't play What Can I Share. Day is Done is another practice in 3/4 time using half notes and quarters. So with both hands. Notice my right hand, the melody was slurred melodically. My left hand was just chunked chords. Going on to page 44, we're now going to do the opposite of moving to B. On the right hand, this is actually on left hand, we're going to play 5, 3, and 1. Everybody play 5, 3, 1 in C position with me. Ready? Please do not lay your heads down and go to sleep. That is 20 points off on your grade this week for doing that. You need to be following the video and practicing along with me. Left hand, 5, 3, and 1. Everybody put their left hand on their keyboard, please, and play 5, 3, and 1. Here we go. Ready? And 5, 3, 1. You'll notice that the next measure says 5, 2, 1. So your tendency, if you do what you did before, would be to play 5, 2, and 1 right where they are. But you'll notice that the thumb has moved over to the A. If you look at the picture in the red box above, the thumb is moving back and forth between the G and the A. It's the kind of the same thing that your right hand did on the G7 chord, moving between C and B, but now we have it on the left hand, the opposite. So you have a pinky that can move over to B and a thumb that can move over to A. Finger 2 stays in place right where it is. So the only finger that is moving is your thumb. Notice the bottom note stays the same. It's still a C. It does not move down to the B. Please play those 3 chords with me. Play your C chord with your left hand, 5, 3, and 1. Now play 2, 5, 2, and move your thumb over to the A for 1. This is an F chord in what we call second inversion, which means the F is not on the bottom. Just like playing the G7 back and forth, you want to be able to comfortably play the F chord back and forth. We're doing this with melodic intervals instead of harmonic ones here. Good practice. That's F chord in the left hand. Always look at the red boxes on your pages. Those are your most important new concepts for playing. If you notice here from the red box in C, you can see that both of the top notes actually move up 1 step and 1 key. However, this finger 2, stays in place. It's always on the F, and the A is now played with your thumb. When the Saints go marching in, you're going to employ all 3 of those chords in your left hand on this page, on page 45. So we have a melody with slur on the right hand, and then we have those chunked chords of those 3 chords in the left. First, we see the G7 on that page right here. Then we go back to C. F chord, the end of that. C, C. And I know you can't see the complete chord on the bottom. Again, I can get you a clean sheet if you need one, but you can see this chord symbol up top. This is the C. This measure is a C chord. This measure is a G7. The final one is a C. And you can see the basic rhythm here. You can see rest, quarter, rest, quarter, rest, quarter, rest, quarter, rest, quarter, 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 quarter. So that last line. The top line has half notes, so they are held. Where the left hand has the rest, so those are short. What do you see at the end? Repeat that, so you need to play through it twice. So at this point, I want you to focus on page 45 over the others. On Monday, I'll make a new recording for both of the When the Saints Go Marching In, and I will teach it hand by hand and then teach you to put them together. Today, I just wanted to introduce really the song and how you play the melody, legato and smooth, and how you play the chordal accompaniments differently. But we will have a whole video dedicated to those two songs. For today, this is as far as we're going to go. And I do want you to spend the rest of the period practicing these three different chords in your left hand for right now. On the recording we make Monday, we'll look at those three chords in the right hand. All right, thank you.